invite Neil up here to have a few words. And I tell you, don't miss the Bush Theatre tonight down on the river. Neil.
Does anybody have a spare joint? Well, it's a strange situation. It's the one weekend of the year where you can't sit in the cafes and smoke pot. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. The cops are going to bust the cafes next week now. It's a weird situation we got here, folks. It's a really weird situation. As Michael pointed out, there's not actually much real drug crime happening in Nimbin. There's a lot of pot smoking. There's a lot of all sorts of weird shit. Same as the rest of the planet is suffering a lot. Suffering a lot of weird shit. But there's no serious drug crime. There's no real money being made in Nimbin by the traditional status quo of the drug business in Australia, which is corrupt cops and gangsters. That's a fact of life. Every 10 years they have a royal commission into it. They prove that there are elements within the New South Wales police force who keep somehow rising back to the surface, and they make a lot of money out of heroin, amphetamines, a whole range of shit that's bad for you, and they often focus on colourful, weirdo minority groups that no one really listens to, because it's a good colourful bust, folks, and it looks good in the paper, and they're tough on drugs then, you see. But it doesn't really affect the status quo at all. So that's my main beef with the whole thing. But thanks to the coppers for being reasonably restrained. No thanks to Bluey Lions for being stupid enough to think that we needed them all. There was a doof out down the road last night, 3,000 people. No trouble, no coppers. What does that tell us? I'm just going to say one more thing. I probably won't, because I love to bullshit and I'll carry on for hours and hours until they drag me off the stage. But other than has anybody got a fucking joint, I'd just like to say...
Let's do it. Let's show them.
Threw it up. Oh, good. Good. That's
let's
good.
pass it around.
No filter. But, got a lot? Possession. Possession deemed supply.
Let it go!
Listen, folks, love them anyway. We can't beat them at their game, so we've got to be real nice to them and treat them with respect and love and honour, and sooner or later they'll wake up to the fact that we're human too and that we're actually pretty good people. Anyway, moving right along. As Michael said, people died this year, close people into our family. Somebody else died, a man called Albert Hoffman, who's very, very special to me, and I would suspect very special to a lot of the people here. I'm not going to tell you who he is. If you don't know, find out. Do a Wikipedia search. If you do know, you do know, and it's as simple as that. So rather than a minute's silence, because I think that's a little bit a hard act to pull off. You know, I can't shut up for a minute, God. So rather than a minute's silence, how about it we have a big hats off to Hoffman, a big hip hip hooray. So 1, 2, 3, hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Yay, Albert. Thank you, folks.
Thanks very much, Neil. 102. I love the picture of him at 95 on one leg holding the gold top. Mate, they really knock you around. 95!